Welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers. What day is it? It is Thursday, February 3rd, 2022, 6:41 a.m. here in the Arizona desert. So everybody, yes, welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers. Wednesday, February 3rd, 6:42 a.m. in the Arizona desert. Okay, interesting day in the market. Let's check it out. A lot going on. So definitely have had some volatility recently. As we all know, Facebook and PayPal kind of dumped. It's going to be interesting to see when the traditional markets open, how that affects the crypto market. Is it going to, or I think well, we'll see. I've been looking at it a lot of different ways. I mean, ultimately, if Facebook and PayPal recover, then probably Bitcoin will follow up also. If they dump further, probably Bitcoin will follow them to some extent. I think. So anyway, with that said, also, you can kind of time it. A market recap here. Bitcoin and Ether drop as U.S. deploys troops to Eastern Europe. Big deal. I mean, really, upon that news, they kind of timed it. And I could find it over here. Where was that at? I did find it. Let's see here. Exactly. Let me find the quote over here. I'm sorry for the slight delay. Yeah. Markets dropped steeply on the news, with Bitcoin dropping as much as 5% and Ether dropping as much as 5.7% on the day. So, we had Facebook and PayPal dump in. Definitely Facebook took a hit after market close. That's for sure. Interesting to see how that affects things when it opens. And then also, of course, we have this news. And, as a Bitcoin truth seeker, I guess as a trading truth seeker, my political view on and whatever is not really, it doesn't matter so much what we think about it. It's just a matter of, what it is. So this is definitely something that will affect the market, I think. Let's see what happens. Because it's a deep story. I mean, you need to start with like a history lesson starting around 1870 to begin to understand the depth of this issue. Geez. Okay, so a new indicator. I'm just getting into the cumulative volume delta CVD indicator. I saw that this morning. Somebody over at Blockchain Education did do a cool chart. I would show it to you, but he didn't tell me that I could, or he hasn't told me yet. So anyway, but basically, he noticed with the CVD, with the cumulative volume delta there. I can read you his description where he said, I was looking at the CVD, cumulative volume delta, aggregated for the major exchanges. It's running the sum of the net buying versus selling volume. It has been it has been in a constant slip, but recently it has been noticeably increasing. And in the past year, that behavior has signaled a bottoming out. And I'll show you the chart next time if I get an okay to do it. I think it's something he actually kind of custom has created. But anyway, we'll be looking at the CVD indicator. I'm going to try to sort of replicate what he made because it's really cool, and it does show we might be. It shows something positive that you can't see. Sorry. Anyway, I'll try to get that. I'm going to recreate what he did if I can't show you what he did. All right. So, fear and greed index. Right now, we're in extreme fear again. 20. Major indices. I don't think ours are open yet. More red than green in the market today, in the world, I should say. Looking at Bitcoin trading volume, one thing I like seeing, we're at 3.2 billion recently. Getting above 3 billion is a big deal. That's nice. We're down 16%. That's 24 hours. Okay. Market buy orders dropped 18%. Market sell orders up by 11. This is a little bit more positive than it has been. So let's see how it rolls. What is Bitcoin trading volume via the Crack Smoke and Masari IO? Well, 9 billion, 9.5 billion. That's a little bit more reasonable. So 3.2 billion for cryptometer.io, and then Masari says 9.5 billion. So definitely volume. I'm glad to see it above 3 billion. That's really nice for Bitcoin explicitly. Looking at spot trading pairs on Binance and Coinbase. Binance 14.9 billion. That's still really low, but it is up 36%. That's 24 hours. Seeing an upwards move in that 7-day graph. I like it. Coinbase above 3 billion. I can dig it. 3.6 billion, up 21%. Look at all the big exchanges. They have an increase in volume. That's a positive thing. For derivatives on Binance, 56 billion. You get over 50 billion. Not a bad day. Above 75 billion, you're definitely in action. Up 36% last 24 hours. So we're starting to see some nice volume return to the market. Definitely for Bitcoin explicitly, I think that cryptometer.io is definitely the most accurate at 3.2 billion. If you figure in wash trading and silliness like that, 9.5 billion. Actually, that's a bit low for what Masari.io, what I would usually expect it to say. So take it for what it's worth. Interesting. All right. Bitcoin coming in at 36,763. That kind of sucks ass. But well, there's no but basically, and we have a red day in the market in general, except for the top 100, except for Immutable X, whatever that is, IMX, which is up 26%, and QNT, which is up 7%. So in general, kind of a red day in the market, except for some outliers. Looking at longs versus shorts sentiment on Binance, where the volume is 50% long, 45% short for Bitcoin, then for Ethereum, 50%, 57% long, 42% short. Definitely, a long bias on Bitcoin, but just barely, and a bit of a pretty solid long bias on Ethereum. Looking at the whales duking it out this morning, there's a $1.5 million buy. They're definitely after each other this morning. You're seeing a lot of longs got liquidated recently. This is 10-second candles, but this is going back to a couple hours ago. Basically, 10-second candles, February 3rd, where's about midnight. Here's about midnight right here. So you can see during yesterday we had some dumps. Then of course we had another dump last night, and now ching ching, double Bart pattern. Look at that, little Barts there. Anyway, definitely they're fighting each other. I've been watching. $1.7 million buy, 936K buy. Then some big sales will come in. I think we're definitely seeing an effort to push the market one way or the other. Couldn't tell you why, but just like I say, this is more of an intuitive feel. But I was watching this for a while this morning while I was doing other things. It does seem like they're kind of after each other a bit. We got conflicting interest as to which way this market's going to go via the big players. As always, guys, go to radianthemppaste.com, buy some stuff. You'll like it. I'm glad you did. It's wonderful. Gold on top, silver on the bottom. Gold today, a very, very indecisive red doji, just under the 200 moving average. You can see it there. Yep. Yeah. And then silver definitely dumping. So gold and silver, potty today so far. I don't think the market is open yet. Is it? Nope, not open yet. Sorry. But we can't wait around for the lame-ass traditional markets to open. Although when they do, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Sorry about that. Boom, boom. Let's look at, okay, let's keep going. All right, looking at PaxG versus, well, Bitcoin, then of course, Bitcoin versus Tether. Bitcoin versus PaxG up top here. Bitcoin versus Tether down here at the bottom. As you can see, they're absolute reflections of one another, just exactly perfectly the opposite. I've been debating all this time where I could have been making money debating if I wanted to get hedge into some PaxG. I have not yet. I don't know. I'm so indecisive right now. I just don't know. If when we first made that cross below the 200 moving average, let's just say that you've been like, okay, I'm out. I'm gonna when we didn't hold the even if you went after we didn't hold the 314. God damn it, I hate the indicator. This one right here. I want this one. Even if you're like, okay, I'm waiting for the, I'm gonna put a limit in, like right below the 314. Sorry guys, I'm moving so slow. Let me get a little bit frosty here. All right, boom. Let's say you had, boom. So you had on this 200 moving average break, like right. Let's say you got it right about in the middle. Right now you'd be up like, well, 2%, 2%, 3%, 2%. You've got a limit order and you might actually sell with this wick. Anyway, guys, something to keep in mind. It's a great way to hedge out if you really lose faith. If you think Bitcoin is going to have a continued downtrend, it's a great trade. I like it because it makes you a bit rather than just hedging out into like USDT or USDC. You go into PaxG, since it's going to make some percent if Bitcoin drops. It kind of helps you ensure you make gains on that trade. If you know what I'm saying. Bitcoin versus USDT here on the 45-minute chart. This is kind of like, I don't want to say dismal. It's just not positive, basically, because the issue we're running into is, so we dumped in yesterday. We dumped and didn't hold the 200 moving average. We ranged between the 200 and the 314 for a bit, dropped below the 314, kind of got sideways, had some upwards mobility, then another dump, and now we're kind of moving, recovered a bit. Now we're getting some sideways. In general, it's just the indicators are, to me, kind of shitty here on the 45-minute chart. I just can't say too much positive about it, really. It's just not a strong chart. It's not a strong chart, really. And then if we look here at the 4-hour chart, of course, it does bring home that we are in this, we have been in a downtrend for a good while, really. I mean, look at that. We're giving a lot back. And so if I was to try to do a channel here, where could I hook this? Let me just, I'm not even sure how to make a channel on this one. It's just kind of, you really can't. Screw it. Just whatever, like something like this, you can see this is a pretty rough downwards channel, kind of hard to draw. It's a little bit too choppy, really, to be completely accurate. Anyway, guys, I won't sit here and mess with it, but yeah, something like that. You can kind of see, but then again, anyway, sorry guys, just, it's not positive, we'll have to see what happens. I mean, right now, Bitcoin seems to be stuck in the giving it back mode. So, it's kind of a little bit more hopeful. Yesterday, I kind of had a better, feel for it until we had our little bit of a drop. Now, right now on the 4-hour chart, ADX is red. Well, ADX is low. Directional index is in the red. Squeeze indicator here is definitely in the red here. It was showing, velocity towards the downside. Binary candle is just pure shit. It's going down. KRI is dumping. Stochastic RSI does show we're kind of oversold right now. We might pick up. Wage oscillator by Lazy Bear kind of corresponds to that. We're nearing the bottom of the RSI cave here, but we do have some distance from it. So let's see. It's just giving it back. 45-minute chart. Where yesterday had a little bit of perkiness to it. But then of course it's just dumping now and kind of stair stepping down. So indicators are not really that positive, to be honest with you. So we'll see. I don't have any reason to, I don't know how to play it really. Overall, it's, screw it, whatever. Just not a positive chart, Unfortunately, the time to have hedged out probably would have been, before right at this 200 moving average break. Right now, I don't really know. So, trade at your own risk. Looking at the 2-hour chart, though, we do see some good stuff. And this is an important thing. And this is one that I'm really going to be I pay attention to, but I'm going to be paying more attention to recently. If one had hopped out on this, MACD cross on the 2-hour chart, if one had hopped out, hedged out, that would have been the time to have done it. Even though we were riding this 200 moving average down on the 2-hour chart, still would have been a good time to hedge out, and you really would have made some dough at this point. So with that said, right now we're below all the important moving averages on the 2-hour chart. But the MACD it's negative, but the histogram is closing towards the positive. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. Really, I'm going to watch. I'm going to look at the hour here also. On the hourly, we're starting to really get kind of sparky. We're actually crossing negative and positive a bit. We kind of have this. I never find this to be a great trading location here when the MACD is kind of doing this like back and forth thing. Usually not very positive. You want to trade nice solid breaks like this, or fake outs like this. You know what I mean? So anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm kind of hopeful. This 1-hour MACD is starting to look a little bit sparky. The 2-hour really, to me, does definitely, its attitude does tend to show the tangent of where the daily is going to go. So right now, if this continues to move towards a positive cross, I think the daily MACD will also stay in a positive direction. It's tangent. So the daily MACD, if we look at it, right now it's a little bit shaky on that tangent. It's kind of level. It's not quite up or down. It's not quite negative or positive. Let's see if that can continue positive or turn positive today. That definitely would show some investor confidence, I think. Looking at yesterday, we had a shitty red candle. Today, we have a smaller shitty red candle. We'll see how it rolls. We're below the 20 WMA. It'd be good if we could actually challenge that and break above. Anyway, right now, we're kind of in no man's land. I'm not seeing this as a strong chart right now. I'm not. But the only real hope I have as far as a move up would be the 2-hour MACD. Keep watching that and see if the daily tangent turns positive. Also, of course, you can always be watching the 45-minute chart here. Definitely, if Bitcoin can get some sparkiness here and get back above the 200 moving average, which is one that's important to me, at least, which is right around like 37,800. Push above there, find support. That's all we really need, in my opinion. If we can just stay above that and spend some days above that, especially, and trend away from it, like, right here was a great trading opportunity. For one thing, you can make some money in Bitcoin, but also this makes it, to me, that's when I was making some really nice alt trades and doing quite well. When Bitcoin gets a little flaccid and breaks below the 200 moving average, you can still make money in all trades. Sometimes you can get some great trades, to be honest with you, but you've got to try harder to find them. So right now, difficult trading and a Bitcoin, which is kind of in no man's land. Which way is it going to go? A lot of conjecture. We have the Fed crap willing to regulate it to protect us from terrorism, I guess. You've got the bullshit in Eastern Europe. And then, of course, you have a market open coming after we've already had negative effects from Facebook and PayPal dumping. So let's see how that rolls. Anyway, looking at this 4-hour chart here, going way back to like July 20th, I think this is a beautiful move that Bitcoin made. We've been giving it back for a while, as you can see, just giving it back and giving it back and giving it back. Need to find support above this 786, which is right around 37,834, which is also right around the 45-minute 200 moving average, which is like 37,769. So if we can get back to like 3,800 and start to range sideways there, that'd be wonderful. Why I like this 4-hour chart is, I think we're kind of at that point where we have this beautiful range up here. Like the greatest volume within this whole cycle was 47,180. So, I mean, that's kind of a magnetic attraction for this thing to move up towards. And then also you have the golden pocket. The 618 definitely has played out very, very well, which is like 44,400 to like 43,200. If we can get back in there, that'd be really nice too. I mean, really, I guess just my concern is either I think this shape will play out and will bounce at a reasonable spot and then continue moving up, bouncing after a little bit of time onto the 786, or we're going to give it all back, and that's 29,000. And then that kind of gets a little creepy right there if we really do go back to where we started on this upwards trend, because that might mean like, 29,000 is a scary level. I mean, just as far as are you going to be backing up your truck and buying everything you can at 29K? Or if we hit 29K, is that are we jacked? Are we going to have some of those with the permabulls keep cry holing about their 14K and 8K and all their bullshit? Because really, we've already given a lot back. I mean, 786 is really the last place you're going to bounce, unless you're going to give it all back and more. So we're at a critical spot here. We really are. ETH versus USDT on the 45-minute chart. It's trying to stay between the 200 and the 314 moving average. Needs to get back above that 200 moving average here on the 45-minute chart today. Get back in this channel. It's been a bit stronger than Bitcoin. Its chart's a little bit more robust, to be honest with you. If I had to plan on making gains in one or the other today, it would probably be Ethereum and not Bitcoin. Litecoin versus BTC. Check it out. Litecoin's really putting some effort forth. Broke above the 200 moving average. Even through all this volatility, it's only wicked through the 200 and the 314 a time or two. Moving up this morning like a rocket ship to Pluto. Indicators are not looking that bad, honestly. It could be a play. I'm watching it close. I'm just in general not liking the attitude of Bitcoin right now. I don't quite want to get into this because if Bitcoin does dump, then this trade will dump also. So, but if Bitcoin firms up, This is definitely might be quite the trade. I don't know why Litecoin's pumping, but it is. Sol versus USD. No, I'm sorry, Sol versus BTC. I'm watching this trade because I really kind of dig it. We broke above the 200 moving average. We ran, visited the top of the RSI cave, jumped. And right now, with Bitcoin's volatility, it ain't really going nowhere. But it has stayed above the 200 moving average. It's kind of wicked down to it. One body hit it. So this is actually showing to me a lot of strength. Squeeze indicators moving positive. ADX is in the right spot for where it's at. Directional index is in the red, but I think you might see a trend towards the positive here. Binary candles have stayed in the blue. KRI is about to go red again. Stochastic RSI is still in the sweet, play zone, which not set by Lazy Bear shows we're at the bottom. Let's buy. So really, as long as Bitcoin doesn't just plummet, if it can get a little bit of firmness, maybe a Sol BTC trade might be good. Really, this is kind of a sweet spot. I mean, this is a nice place to bounce. It's either going to move up or definitely just plummet. So I mean, to me, a buy like here, just market buy right now, boom, give it to me, and then putting a stop right here at the 314. Because pretty much at that point you're done. It's not going to happen, which is right around like a 25718. Yeah, it's like 25718 or 25700 if you want to be a little bit under that. Like it's like 25700. Anyway, basically, or you even be very aggressive if you want to be a little bit crazy under that bottom of the RSI cave at around 25300. Anyway, just throwing out crazy ideas. This is just what I would do, not financial advice, just saying this might be a good trade. I mean, Sol has got a lot of good media right now. It did have some security issues the other night, but it was not, I think it was last night or yesterday, but it was not Solana blockchain that got hacked. It was something on it that got hacked. So anyway, one that I'm watching, there's a lot. This has got mega news power behind it, and stuff's happening. It's going to be an NFT. There's going to be Solana NFTs on OpenSea soon. So really, all we need is a market. All we need is a bit of a stable Bitcoin, and Sol versus BTC might be just a friggin' monster truck trade. Really, it might. Seriously. Just saying. Sol versus USDT, not doing quite so well. It's holding that 314 kind of. We'll see what happens. Indicators are turning up slowly. It's just reacting to the volatility in the market, but I think it wants to get back in this upwards movement here. Let me look at my little scanner here and see if I see anything recently that has pumped. Sorry to hold you up. Let me just look. Anything pumping this morning, like just recently? No, not really. Nothing too exciting going on, guys. I mean, VGX BTC. It's had some burstiness here. It's hanging with that 200 moving average. Charts are slowly turning up. VGX BTC, not a bad one to have on your radar. I'll just move it here. We'll see how it does later on. If it starts to move up, this could be a play actually. Especially, yep, it's coming off of a nice long downtrend. Woo, giving it back. Maybe it's gonna make a turnaround there. Anyway, I know I mentioned I would do a video yesterday and cover some alts that look good. Just got pulled away from things and wasn't able to get to it. I'm going to work on that today. So kind of like I do a daily view in the morning, and then in the afternoon, just a kind of a short one, just looking at several coins that have a good setup for that day that could be a potential money makers, or definitely ones to watch. So we'll start to do that. I wouldn't call it signals, but I would just call it things that I'm doing. I will share them with you so we can all make shit tons of money in 2022, because that's what it's about. Anyway, for every Bitcoin Satoshi you own, it is a statement of belief in a sci-fi future for humanity that is completely beautiful, free of parasitic globalists who are always doing shit like this. Anyway, take care.